join the cheer. Hiker Brewing is where we chat, 'cause it's where good beers are at. Support it out.
All right, mate. Welcome here on, what is it? You normally read out the date.
Episode 14.
Yeah.
So 14 for you,
Yes.
about 11 for me.
Something like that, yeah. Yep, but that's all right.
No, it's good.
25th of June, here we are. Living it up.
2024.
That's right.
How's your week been?
It's been good, mate. It's it's only Tuesday, but yeah, since we last chatted, on Friday night up at the Fortitude Brewing, I had a dark beer event up there. So I had 7 beers on tap and 1 in a bottle.
Oh, nice.
Ranging from 5.6% ABV right up to 13.9.
Okay.
So yeah, it was good.
Were they all catchment group beers, or you bought stuff in?
No, I bought a couple in.
Yep.
It was more just a great way for people. It was called Dark Beers by Candlelight. It was for the winter solstice, which was on Friday. So that was pretty good.
Yeah, there's a few events like that around, isn't there? So
Yeah, because Bacchus has a Brumalia.
Brumalia.
Yeah,
Yeah, nice.
So, but yeah, it was more. I mean, it gets freaking cold up the mountain, and so we just thought, let's do some dark beers. And yeah, we obviously didn't drink all the beers on the night. We tasted them all on the night, obviously, but we didn't drink all the kegs that we had.
Yep.
And so those beers are still up there now. So there's a paddle special that you can get for 5 dark beers for $45.
How many taps you got up there?
I want to say 18.
Oh, gee, that's a lot of
Yeah.
taps. Oh, so you got the capacity to put...
There's 3 banks of 6.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah.
So you got the capacity to do that.
Yep.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So yeah, there's always beers going on up there, which is good. So yeah,
Is there a good local following up there, or is it more tourists coming in and out? Or?
it's a little bit of both. We have an event on Hops and Harmony, which is on once a month, which is really busy. Like we get 200 plus people come every single month to it. It's on a Thursday night.
Yeah.
It's freaking cold.
Yep.
And they all just come along and it's like pub choir and do this massive song. It's always the locals because tourists don't go to that thing. But then, during the day, the tourists come. We've got a members' night on the third Friday of every month.
Yep.
I think it is, and we get similar amount for that. So
That's good.
you got to cater to both offerings. There,
No,
and you got to be able to straddle that line. So
Yeah, nice. So do you want to go through the sponsors?
yeah, better shout them out, eh? So Bintani, Craft Punks Canning, Convoy Kegs, Rattlings Labels and Stickers, and of course
Hiker Brewing Concern.
Hiker Brewing Concern. That's right. Yeah, man. So
I got
how
a
about
question.
yourself? I didn't ask you. What have you been up
we
to
had a
this
busy
week?
weekend. Yeah, no, we just had a lot of birthday parties and things like that, so that was good. So it's definitely, this is our second year of operation, or end of the second year.
Yep.
So definitely, we're getting into the quiet period, with the cold.
You can sort of look at some data that you've got from last year now, rather than just winging it and hoping.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but it's good to pick up. Yeah, we had about 3 birthdays on Saturday, so that was good. So
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So that and I love this June because it's a 5-weekend month.
Yep.
So it makes the figures look even better.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I always look at the calendar when the 5-weekend. There's 2 5-weekend months a year.
Yeah.
So I'm glad it was this one because we've got a bit of money going out at the moment.
Mate, it's not like you're not trying to target every little shoestring you can to get some money coming in here. So.
Oh yeah, no, we're getting there. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully we'll working hard on the East Brisbane side and hopefully get the keys later this week.
Nice.
And we're hoping to be up and running mid-July.
Yeah, nice.
Best case scenario, I think. So, but anyway,
That's good. It's exciting. Looking forward to
so
seeing
exciting.
what you do.
Yeah, just trying to find staff and that's mean like we've run this place on the smell of an oily rag.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, can't be in 2 places at once.
Can't do that when you've got 2 venues.
Get in the car. Hang on, I'll be back. I just got to go and pour a beer at the other bar.
Yeah, not really conducive.
No. There might be a bit of a lead.
It's a bit of a too far away.
Yeah. So anyway, so grappling with that at the moment. Anyway,
nice.
Let's get into it. So, are you a beer snob? I suppose.
Yeah, man, I reckon I was a craft beer snob at one point. And I think it's hard if you drink a lot of craft beer and you're in the industry to not be, to some extent, as much as we all don't want to be, and we all want to be able to drink beer, and not be a beer snob.
Yeah.
But if we're also, like, I don't drink VB or Tui's or Corona or anything like those anymore, but I mean, my mate, all he drinks is 4X bitter.
Yeah.
And if I run out of beer at his place when we're having a catch up, or if I forget beer, that's what I drink. I don't hate it. I drink it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
My cousin in Sydney, shout out Ant. He only drinks Tui's New, and yeah,
Each their own.
I don't go out drinking with him because fuck him.
No, but But this relates to an article from American Craft Beer in regards to beer buzzkills, the craft beer snob.
That's right. So there are different things to say that if you to point you out as being a craft beer snob. So, you know, the ritual of the pour.
Yeah.
And most people, unless you're a Guinness drinker though, like this is, if you're a Guinness drinker, the pour is very important. And it's a specific pour that you need to do. But yeah, craft beer, you need to make sure that the beer is poured properly. You get a real nice head, and most publicans do that anyway. They've been taught. I'm a 2-pour person. That's what I was taught way back in the day. It creates a better head. The head stays around for longer. You get better lacing. It is all dependent on the beer. But yeah, I'm a 2-pour beer pourer.
Oh, that's fine.
But yeah, there's a lot of. I mean, this is also tongue in cheek. This article a little bit as well. So yeah, I think the names of them are pretty cool. So yeah, ritual of the pour, the aroma analysis, because you used to just pick up your beer and drink it, right?
Yeah.
And now that's not anymore. You're smelling it and going.
That's one thing I've learned, because I used to just drink beer out of can at home.
Yeah.
Now I can't do it.
Oh, you got to pour it into a glass.
Got to find a clean glass.
Yep.
But
Yep.
that's another problem.
Yeah.
Joe, can you do the dishes?
That's right. Yeah.
But yeah, so you know, it's always it's always it's pretty important ritual for me now. Even like every time I even pour a beer here, I like to smell it, because that's all part of the.
I had an issue the other day on my way up to. It was Friday on my way up to the mountain, and I stopped at a pub for what I thought would be, no, I'm just going to shower myself some lunch at this pub and check out the beer. And I couldn't even finish the beer. Just smelled horrible and just didn't taste nice. And I didn't want to say that I was a beer snob, but I was like, I literally only drank 2 or 3 mouthfuls of the beer to wash down the hamburger, which also wasn't great.
Yeah.
So,
but
to say,
for me, because like with diacetyl, I can smell diacetyl better than I can taste it. So, So as soon as I get a beer, it's like, okay, hasn't got diacetyl. Like,
I'm with you. I can smell it, and I'm not great at tasting it.
Yeah.
Yesterday when Dan, you and I did the VDKs, he goes, I don't want to taste it to check. And I was like, I don't taste VDKs, I can smell it.
Exactly.
This was a pretty cool article, I think. And I think it just shows that, there are a whole lot of snobbiness around it. You know, the art of pairing, the battle against big beer, the quest for obscurity.
But we don't want to be snobs like wine
We don't
drinkers.
want to be snobs. No, we want to welcome everyone, and the snobby terms, I think it brings you together, and it's there and it's common vernacular, but it's also a little bit of fun you have between each other.
And one of my favourite sayings is one of Matt Kierkegaard's, like, you know, beer is a conversation, wine is a lecture. So it's just like,
I really enjoyed what he said.
I actually really, you know, like, he's a deep thinker, like, love him or hate him. But I just love that saying, because it actually categorises craft beer in a very good like today we're having a chat.
100%. Well, Hendo, one of our mutual mates, and no stranger on this podcast, but I gave him, he's over in, well, he's not actually, he's on his way back, or he landed today from South Africa. I gave him a challenge while he was over there to try that beer style, the Umwopi, and he found one.
Oh, really?
He actually spoke to the brewer and chatted to her and tasted the beer. And I didn't even realise that, I might have mentioned it, but I've forgotten it already, but that it can only be brewed by females. And so he's tasted this beer, and he's like, "Oh man, it's really weird. It's like nothing you've had that's beer before." And yeah, like he was saying to me, he goes, "Oh, it was a really cool sort of experience." He goes, "Not sure I'll do it again."
Yeah.
But he even talked about it. A guy asked the question on his podcast. Can Hendo even pronounce that name now on Boss and the Brewer podcast that he does with Dan Norris? And I was like, "Oh, that's what I asked." And Hendo was like, "Yeah, no, I can't."
No.
Yeah. So
fair enough. And on to the next topic. Would you drink or brew a hemp beer?
So I would brew with hemp stuff for sure. I think that it would give a lot of flavour and aroma to the beer. I am not sure that I get affected by pot or marijuana in any sense anyway, and so I've never had that draw to bother having a spliff or a joint or anything anyway. So it could be the ADHD. Maybe I need the uppers, not the downers.
Well, we've actually got a little kit from one of the sponsors, Bintani.
Bintani, yeah.
With but it's not like, it's some of the extracts from that, the hemp, whatever.
Yeah, it's
but
got the
not,
cannabinoids out of it.
Exactly.
It's no
so
THC. It's got the flavour.
Yeah, so we're keen to have a bit of a play around with that.
I think it'd be
dose
really
a couple
cool.
of kegs with it.
Well, I think it'd be good because it adds another flavour. Hops are related to marijuana. With that, that family of plant. And I agree with you. And I remember my dad we used to go and travel all over the country on school holidays and stuff. And once we went to some monastery or somewhere, and Dad said to me, he said, "Oh, can you smell that?" And I'm like, "No, what are we smelling?" And he goes, "It smells like dirty pine, but it's a little bit more fuely."
Yeah.
And I've never forgotten it. And I can always tell when someone's smoking a joint.
Okay.
Because I would smell dirty pine. I'm like, it's fucking dirty pine.
Okay.
But in a
was
beer,
a copper, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. yeah, mate. Yeah, you can pick it up. But I've often wondered, I love those, big West Coast IPAs with that diesel intensity, that real pine resiny sort of aroma. And I reckon it sounds to me like hemp would fit squarely, perfectly in that style of beer too.
No, we just haven't had a chance because we've been a bit busy, but we've got them sitting in the fridge and we've been toying around with just dosing a keg with some of them.
Yeah.
So just to try it out.
For sure.
And see what it is.
I think it'd be super interesting.
Yeah.
Make sure I'm around when that keg gets on.
I will.
Yeah.
Not that you're a stranger, so.
No, that's right. Yeah, I'll be around.
And so what about White Bay Brewing getting into the sport with limited edition beer for the Sydney Swans?
So earlier in the year, White Bay joined forces with Sydney Swans as their brewery of choice, or whatever, like some sort of partnership that they do to supply beer to the stand. And now they've got a limited edition anniversary beer that has been brewed at White Bay with the stars, some of the players from the AFL and AFLW Sydney Swans team, to celebrate 150 years of the Sydney Swans and South Melbourne Bloods. Now, I don't know anything about AFL except for Sydney Swans are an AFL team. That's all I know.
Yeah.
I don't actually...
well, see, they originally South Melbourne in Victoria.
Right, okay.
And then, when they sort of were getting there, then they relocated to Sydney.
Right, okay. So that makes sense about this.
It's like the Brisbane Lions was basically like Fitzroy.
Yeah.
So, it was just like one of the clubs from Victoria relocating to another city.
Yeah, okay. So there's this partnership, and they got this limited edition beer that the players helped brew on brew day, as much as people can help on brew days. Yeah, they just come in and stand there. And
do you reckon they got on it, like the players? Probably not. K-Lab days are normally like the visiting brewery, just like
sits there at the bar and tastes all your wares. Yeah. I reckon they would have had a few for sure.
Yeah, but they're athletes, so
yeah, exactly.
It's a bit different.
Yeah, well, the good thing about this too is that $5 from each carton sold, 16 packs, go to the Sydney Swans Foundation, which I'm sure helps a lot of people. So there's also some good to come out of it as well. It's not just we're in it to make money and sell beer.
Yeah, that's good.
Something going back.
What about another one of your favourites, like your quirkiness? New hybrid yeast from the bark trees in Patagonia.
Yeah, so it was only a couple of weeks ago we were talking about Patagonia.
Where the hell is Patagonia?
I keep forgetting where it is exactly, but it's over.
It sounds exotic.
Oh yeah, it is. In Chile.
Okay.
It's really difficult to get to. Like a lot of hikers and sort of stuff go there. It's very mountainous. Bear Grylls used to go there all the time. We talked about it not long ago because they were using water from over there.
Yep.
That was different or something. I can't remember, to make a non-alcoholic beer. And now there's all these researchers that have gone and found all these yeasts on the bark of the trees over there that they're creating hybrid yeasts by putting them in through 250 different versions, and they're actually growing them through different conditions to create different flavours and aromas in lager beers. They think that ales have enough yeast, and also the yeast that they've found are the type of yeast that lend itself to lagers. So to me, that just means, more exciting stuff. Getting to come out that we get to enjoy.
That's what I mean. So, that's what I love about the beer industry. Everyone, like a lot of people trying to innovate and come up with something new. So which is good. So
I just thought it was really nice. As I said before, I reckon yeast is one of the next big things to go.
It has to.
There's a lot of yeast strains already out there, but everyone knows how to use them.
Yeah.
And I think that there's so many. There's literally billions of different yeast strains all around the world. Not all of them can make beer, but if we find the ones that can, who knows? You might find one that just delivers something incredible that you've never had before.
That's the beauty of yeast, because I think we spoke about it the other week. Like with hops, there's a 12-year cycle from getting a hop to actually getting it commercialised. Whereas yeast, they're rapid. So
100% rapid.
If you can find a good one, the innovation time frame is.
Years ago, there used to be this. There was a TV series, and I forget the woman's name, from Golden Bridge Brewing over in the States, called Beerland. I don't know if you saw that TV show. And so she was a head brewer at a brewery, but she would travel to different cities in the US who had a really cool home brewing culture, and would go and visit all these home brewers and see what they were doing, taste their beers, and then pick the beer that she enjoyed the most. And they had to come back to her brewery for a market, and everyone would taste these home brewers' beers, and then whichever one won out of that event, they would brew commercially through their brewery, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah, nice.
And one of the first episodes was this dude that just found a wooden stump in his local park that he just put into every barrel batch of stout, and made this Russian Imperial, and it just tasted incredible.
Okay.
And it was just, he didn't add yeast or anything, it just came off this damn stump. And that just, for me, is just, that's
cool.
just cool, exciting stuff. So I think this yeast find and things like that are super something to look forward to.
Yeah, no, definitely. The next article is about the Cooper's Empire. So with their new chairman, or should say chairperson, Melanie?
So 352 million they turned down, which that's conservative too. That's actually low, because that was Lion Nathan went to them with a $352 million offer, and Cooper said no thanks, that's no good, and so they upped it from $260 a share to $320 or something, which would have made it even higher, around the $500 million whack for the Cooper's Brewery.
That was a few years ago, though.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. This is just a really cool article from from Forbes, just talking to her about how the family is involved, how much of a family business the Cooper's Brewery is, and the fact that it is still independent. It's owned and run by the family.
Yeah.
You don't get promoted just because you're a Cooper. You can't just roll up and go, hey, I'm a Cooper.
Yeah, you've actually
Get
got to
a
go.
job.
You've actually got to go out.
You've got to go out, find what you want to do in the world, and how it can come back and help the business. And I just think it's just fascinating, and I think that there probably is a whole lot of studies about this business and about how they've run it.
Yeah.
Coopers, I think, make more money off their extract kits and malting than they do off the actual beer that they sell. And they sell something, like millions of bottles and cans a year of their beer, and they still make more money off the brewing process.
And it's fascinating to me, like, like it's now into the 6th generation. Like,
yes.
Normally with like family businesses, by the 3rd generation, it falls in the heat. So,
and I think it's because of that structure of saying you have to go out into the world and find what you want to do, rather than come into the business, we're going to show it to you, and you don't get to experience the world before.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, definitely. I think they've got a really good governance model in regards to succession planning and bringing like people from the broader Cooper's family into the family business.
For me, it was a great read. I mean, who doesn't love a Cooper's? Everyone's got a good Cooper's beer that they can sit down and drink, and I mean, not every single beer that they do is fantastic and something that I laud after, but man, Cooper Sparkling or Cooper Stout, man, they are, but they're a big ship.
Yeah,
it takes them a while to pivot and turn.
And interesting, like, because the IBA's constitution got changed.
Coopers can join.
Coopers can join, but haven't heard whether they've decided to.
So part of the thing about them joining is that if they do join, they can't also be a member of any other association related to beer, which is also means they can't be as part of the Brewers Association of Australia, which is Lion and CUB. And so if Coopers go out of that association, what does the independent space miss out on? Like, what lessons and learnings have Coopers got from being in that association about how to tackle the market and do things? So they're about to spend something like $600 million on a brand new visitor centre. Yeah, they've got money in the bank. No, so they obviously know a lot, and more than you and I.
Well, yeah, it's just interesting that the IBA changed, got the members to vote for the constitutional change to allow it. But
I wonder if that is. I wonder if that's a case of the IBA hoping that they come across, or
surely they would have had discussions.
Someone from Coopers is going, we want to be a part of it, but your model at the moment doesn't suit us.
I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting. I just find it
because do you think
I know there was a bit of backlash.
But do you think that Coopers is so large that it's too big for the IBA, and that Coopers are like, man, we're going to have to pay so much, and we're essentially sponsoring you guys and a whole lot of other little breweries to grow.
I know. That's my thing. I'm just curious as to whether the IBA actually had a conversation with Coopers, or they just did it on a whim.
I think the Coopers guys are pretty open.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's just interesting. When was that? That was like April, the AGM, so it's a few months in. Yeah. But I know there was a bit of angst from a lot of South Australian breweries in regards to that constitutional change.
Well, Coopers have a lot of market share, and they've got also got a lot of budget to throw behind.
Yeah, they've got tap contracts and everything like that. Yep. So, it's just interesting.
Yeah, I think it's good, and it is interesting because they control collectively probably close to the same amount of market share as all the rest of the craft breweries. Yeah, combined. Yeah, like so much so that any study doesn't look at them as an independent; they look at them as CUB, Kieran, Lion, Coopers, and then everyone else. Yeah, so exactly. Which is how those sort of graphs work, anyway. Yeah. Mate, the next one is something that I wanted to chat about. So this is an article brew your own beer at home like a pro with these 8 tips and tricks. I read through the 8 tips and tricks. I'm not sure that the author has ever brewed beer. There's a whole lot of things in there that are pretty standard if you go into any homebrew shop and whatever and talk to some people. But I wanted to ask you, you were a home brewer, as is I. What do you... I want 2, because I've got 2 stories. So what are 2 things that you did while you were home brewing that now that when you think about it, and if you told someone when they were home brewing to not do that, like it's from experience.
Geez. You're putting me on the spot.
I'll tell you one of mine. So one of mine is I was running, I was racking from the fermenter into the keg.
Yeah.
And something was blocking the tap, not letting the beer out.
Yeah.
And so I just stuck my hand in the beer up to my elbow and moved the friggin' yeast bag or whatever was in front of it, letting chunks of yeast and whatever else that I'd stirred up, and now I had a hazy beer go into the keg.
Yeah, nice.
That was one of mine.
Yeah, my worst one was I ended up doing caustic clean on my uni tank.
Yeah.
And then didn't rinse it, and then sanied it, and then like then when I was taking samples a few days later, I thought I'll just taste it. I went, oh yeah, nah. So yeah, that got dumped.
Yeah,
that's probably the worst one. Yeah, I was doing the tape course at the time.
I nearly knocked myself out once. So I dry hopped like the day before, opened it up, dumped in my hops, shut the lid.
Yeah.
And it was still bubbling really slowly, but I was like, I want to see, it was my first IPA that I'd brewed, and I thought, I want to see what the hops have done, the aroma. And I've unscrewed the lid, and I've lifted it up and went, taking a big smell, and all I got was massive CO2 and nearly knocked myself out. I was coughing and choking. That's why we don't do that. Shut the lid.
Yeah, no, you gotta love. You gotta love home brewing. So
yeah, the things you learn.
Yeah, exactly. I do miss it.
You don't have another one?
No, I can't think of another one.
No,
I'm perfect, mate. Like,
Cool bullshit on that, but all right. No, that's all right. I'm happy to embarrass myself.
Yeah, I can't think of any off the top of my head. So, this is an interesting article. Is pale ale a dying style?
That's right. So I found this article. It's behind a paywall for some people, but yeah, is pale ale going the way of the dinosaurs in beer world? And I don't think it's an American article, so it's obviously different over in the US.
Yeah.
Because they are huge on IPAs. They don't have the excise tax that we pay on alcohol. Their hops are a lot cheaper. So for them to be brewing IPAs, it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
And people love hops. So pale ale, while it's nice to drink, I mean, you've got Sierra Nevada, Stone Brewing, all these big IPAs that we all used to drink. Pale ales, rather. People over there now are drinking IPAs. They want more hops.
Yep.
And what have we really got in Australia? And the only thing that I could sort of think about was like XPAs. We've sort of dropped the malt out of the pale ales in Australia a little bit and given more focus to the hops with a lower ABV through what we call an XPA style. And even in the beer competitions, there's like an Australian IPA, and then there's modern Australian IPA. Pale. I keep saying IPA. I love IPAs. Yeah. But I think that is a thing in Australia. Like, we still drink a lot of pale ale. Stone and Wood is still massively up there. Coopers we were talking about just before. They got 2 of them.
Yeah.
You know, there's...
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like that's what I mean. Like Australia, I think, it's because of the excise and everything like that, we're definitely that mid-strength, you know, like 3.5 to 4.5 type thing is this, you know, the sweet spot for a beer in Australia. And I think
100%.
That's why I can't see pale ales dying out here, but I can definitely see it.
I see them evolving a little bit.
Yeah, well, and the hazy pales, you know, like our bestseller here is Horizon, so the hazy pale.
Well, Moffat Beach has had success massively with the Eclipse, Shadow of the Moon. It's a strong pale ale.
Yeah.
which is almost an IPA. It's like so much there, and then you've got like the Bolter XPA, which really put XPA on the map. There were XPAs before, but I don't really think anything hit as hard as the Bolter one. They just got it and nailed it.
Yeah.
And I just think it's interesting. I don't think the pale ale's dying anytime soon, especially not in this country.
Not in this country, no. Yeah, I had an annoying American in on Sunday. He was travelling. I hope he's not listening to the podcast.
I'm sure he.
Jeff,
I'm sure
if you're there, I still love you.
Come on in, Jeff, and have a
it
go,
was funny.
mate.
Like he walked in on Sunday afternoon. He's like in Brisbane for 3 days, and like he basically said, "Yeah, all Australian beer is shit." And I went, "Oh, okay,
yeah, that's great.
Thanks,
Yeah.
mate. Yeah, good old.
Why are you in my brewery?
Yeah. Anyway, but like he went like, after tasting a few of ours, and I gave him a can of Cloudscapes. And yeah, he's going, "Oh, this is really good."
Oh,
so,
yeah.
But you know, but
Oh, mate, I hadn't had Cloudscapes before.
no, exactly.
Yeah.
So it was funny, but yeah, it's just, but it's funny, yeah, just the different culture and the different, you know, they're big on ABVs, big on you know, hops.
Yes.
Which I love hops too. Like,
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. If I could have IPAs and hazy IPAs all the time, I would. But, you know, but you can only
that's not
drink
life.
so much.
That's right. Yeah.
But yeah, but no, it's interesting. I think that's just an American thing. So
Yeah.
the War for Innovation, and then Chinchilla. It's freaking a booming capital of craft breweries.
It seems to be at the moment. Yeah. What's the
Well, so
Pet
you
Shop
got,
Boys go west? Head
well-
out the country and brew in the.
we
brewing
got Charlie's
Chinchilla.
Creek, who are very good friends of Hiker.
100%,
We brewed a few beers for
That's
them.
right. Yep.
and
You did a collab with them with
El Nino.
Yep.
So yeah, and like Steve, he did the TAFE course.
Yep.
So hopefully his brewery's going to be up and running about October. But there's another one that's crept in. 3 school teachers, obviously, you know, don't have too much to do.
Well, on the
on
weekends, what are
They're not marking exams or whatever. So.
No, they're going to end up with all their kids coming into the brewery.
Yeah.
But yeah, how big is Chinchilla that it can support 2 breweries on either side of the town?
I actually asked Steve that a while ago, but this has been on the radar for a little while.
Yeah.
And he's going, he thinks it's good. So
It is great. It would make me want to go out, because he's got, it's not just Charlie's brewery, Charlie's Creek Brewery, he's got campgrounds and stuff, so I'd go out and stay at his campground and then go to the other brewery and check out anything else that was around, within driving distance. I think it's pretty cool.
Obviously, the teachers one's like very small scale. Looks like it's just big homebrew kits and it's just a couple of grain fathers and whatever. But yeah, good luck to them. So.
Yeah, I mean it might be what they've got for now, and until they build out their premises, which is in an old newspaper printing place.
Yeah.
So
and the building doesn't look that overly big, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they go.
Yeah.
I wish them luck. But yeah, so I've been meaning to go out to Chinchilla at some point, but yeah, I'm waiting till it gets Steve's is a bit closer. To completion.
Yeah. You don't want to go out there and have a pub with no beer.
Yeah, and I'm a bit busy at the moment.
You've got a number of things on. Mate, the next one is drink like a fish, or brew beer for a fish. Herman the Sturgeon is 80, and this is about a fish that is a sturgeon, gets a special beer for his 80th birthday. He's actually not drinking it, but it's all about raising money and awareness over in Hood River, which is, I want to say Canada? Oh no, it's in America, Oregon. Is it Oregon or Oregon?
Oregon.
I don't know, but they're over there, and it's to raise awareness for the river, keeping the river clean, where the fish come up and spawn and breed and all of that sort of stuff. And I just think it's cool that they're brewing a beer for an 80-year-old fish. The thing is that they've got this fish that travels to a visitor centre and other things. They don't actually know if it's actually Herman who is the original fish. Then you can't actually tell. This little fact find for you. You can't actually tell the age of a fish until the fish has died and you carry out a post-mortem on the fish.
Well, that's handy.
Yeah. So at least for Herman, he gets to stay alive, and they won't find out until how old he is until thing. But it's just a cool thing. It's just another way that breweries try and give back and show that we are interested in not just ourselves, but things that happen. Yeah. All right. Yeah, man. So the next one is it's from Nova Scotia, which is also overseas. But there's a brewery who did a contract brew for someone, thousands of cans, and
59,000 cans.
that's right. And
fucked it up. And
the brewery who asked for the contract brewing is saying, "Oh, it's not the style or any of this." And then the brewery who did the brewing is saying, "Well, hang on a minute. We talked about what had to happen, some of the changes that we needed to make to get this beer out."
Yep.
And wow, like 59,000 cans is a lot of cans.
Yeah, and that's exactly, and that's the danger, I suppose, of putting your brew and someone else to contract.
100%.
So
yeah,
you've got to own it. So.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's obviously going to be an ongoing case. They're obviously talking about you got to bring in all your experts, and it's America where it's or it's not Nova Scotia's in Canada, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be that sort of thing where people are just going to keep asking questions and saying, "Well, hang on a minute, who gets the money here, and where does it come from? Because we can't sell our beer." And the other guys are going, "Well, we've still got your beer because."
It's interesting, like we've done a few contract brews, and like we haven't done any real contracts or like any like.
It's like here you go.
We guarantee
thanks,
that it's gonna be freaking. Here's the,
give us the recipe and we'll do
what we do.
Get to the parameters.
But it's a bit of a wake up call, really, when you think about it. Like
100%.
So
yeah. I mean, well, it's in the name, isn't it? Right? It's not just you're not just contracting for someone. You get a contract.
Yeah. Is it true to brand?
Yes.
All that type of stuff. Like none of that sort of. Yeah, we've done maybe 5 or 6, and basically worked out a recipe or were given a recipe and manipulated for our system.
Yeah.
But it's a bit of a wake up call when you think about it. So.
Yeah. And mate, the last one is a bit, man, if you're a brewery going through this, I feel sorry for these guys. Again, this one's from Canada. It's a town that has had their main water supply has been damaged. I'm not sure why it was damaged, either through floods or something like that. But it was damaged. So only limited water is getting into the town. So they're facing massive water restrictions. So breweries can't brew beer. There's breweries that are trying to commission their brew kit and can't do anything until they fill the brew with water. You've got to fill your fermenters and say this is how much it holds, like capacity, certification, that sort of thing. So they're unable to do that because they don't want to just fill their brew kit with 1,200 litres of water and then dump it again because people can use that water.
Yeah.
So everyone's trying to work out these ways, and they reckon it's not going to be fixed for a couple of months. Like, could you survive as a brewery?
What do you do?
I don't know.
No?
What would you do?
I don't know. Like beer is like 90 freaking something percent water. So and brewing is very water intensive, like the cleaning and everything like that.
Yeah.
So best practices for every. I think it's every.
The article did say that a lot of breweries have worked around and found other ways to use water multiple times and find things that are way more efficient and implement them, and to also help other businesses to implement these practices as well. But man, what a headache.
Yeah, no, I don't envy them. That's because that's it is an intense water using industry. Like I think best practice is like 6 litres of water for a litre of beer. But it's like because of a lot of the cleaning and everything like that. I know, I haven't sort of measured it here, but I dare say we're probably around 10. So So,
I know some places have it down around 2.5 to 3. But that's it. Every province, state, country is all different, right? Like everyone's got their own things. This is what you have to do. We won't allow you to use water again that is gone onto a drain and down into a pit. You have to get it processed by us before you can use it again. So
hopefully we don't run out of water here.
I know. Yeah. Got any tanks? How much can you fill up your paddling pool?
Oh. Anyway, so that's
Yeah,
the
mate.
news of the week.
Yeah, man, I don't have anything else. I've run out of beer and I'm pretty thirsty. How about you?
Yeah, I'm pretty thirsty too. So
Yeah. Let's go and grab one.
sounds good.
Have a chat to Kaz, just sitting at the bar there. So
Yeah.
sweet. Pour it out.
Pour it out and take a hike.
Cheers.
Without